Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new week and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Shifting the Culture podcast, where we talk about the different artists, different events, and different controversies that center around this world we know and love as hippity hip hop. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka the Professor, because I'm a smart motherfucker in the flesh as always.
Wow. And this is King Khan, aka the Evil Genius, live and direct once again. What's going on, man?
I'm just chilling, bro, and I'm happy to say that we also have a very special guest today coming back again to be a part of the show. We have the CEO of Props Do Entertainment, also an artist, also a chef, also a producer, and also community activist and every other title you can think of. He is Rogue Mike. Rogue Mike, what's the deal, my dude?
Oh, peace, man. Thanks again for having me, y'all. Yo, my man said, jack of all trades, my man. Yo, we think about it. It's funny because there's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, man, that was one of the greatest intros I've ever had.
That's what I'm here for, man.
So I thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. That was fun.
Well, thank you for joining the show, man. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, and Mike this past weekend released a new album as a part of the Baritone Brothers called For the 90 Now. And I actually just listened to it right before we got on the show, and yo, it is a good vibe. I'm telling you, if you like that early to mid 90s New York East Coast vibe, this is some shit you need to listen to. So, Mike, I want to ask you, what was the inspiration behind this project, and how did it all come together?
So definitely in the '90s, that era, we like that boom bap era. So we wanted to really, pay homage to that. We wanted to highlight different. We've been doing this thing recently where we let other producers like produce a full project. So we do like I guess an EP. You know what I'm saying? This one is like 7 joints. The last one was 7 joints. This one we did with
Okay.
the homie Wisdom out of Seattle, Washington. West Coast vibes, we got another one in the works. So I think we'll do like 3 with other producers, just to kind of, branch out a little bit. This is our 5th album.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you can get any of them on all streaming platforms. Baritone Brothers. Yeah, the inspiration for this one was, giving props to another producer and capturing that nostalgic feel of the '90s and that boom bap rap.
Good shit, man. That's what's up. I'm glad I was able to listen to it earlier, and I really liked especially the tracks "Fine China" and also "Bounce." Those are probably the 2 that stuck out most to me.
Yeah, Fine China was fun. A lot of fun records on this on this one, and they all came together just kind of naturally, you know.
That's the best way
And
sometimes.
yeah. And we got a video coming out for the Jakes because that one is real. That one is real descriptive. Like it's almost like you're there in New York, in Queens, right around that time, standing on the block, and you kind of just witness this thing happen. The Jakes is a real fun song too.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to check it out, man. You said it's on all streaming platforms like Spotify, iTunes, and whatnot.
Yep,
All right, perfect.
yep.
All right, definitely gonna check that
Apple
out.
Music. Yep. Yeah, appreciate that, yo. Yeah, show some love. You know what I'm saying? I think we should do that with all of our friend stuff, or people that you're just trying to support. Put that joint on mute, let it on repeat, and let it run all night. Run them numbers up, y'all.
I got one hand washes the other, so yeah,
Right.
definitely want to support. Want to support you, man. So yeah, definitely gonna check it out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good project. Make sure you check it out sooner than later. And also, what started this weekend is the NBA playoffs. And I know you guys got a chance, specifically King Khan, to watch some of the games, especially our Knicks play the Sixers. What did you guys think of the first day?
Basically, I thought it was a good first day. It takes a little while for the playoffs to get amped up, but Definitely the Knicks did their thing yesterday. Brunson didn't play too good, but the team was able to step up and do their thing, and we took home the victory. I don't know what's up with Embiid though. I don't think he's gonna make it. He's gonna last through that series the way he landed on his knee yesterday, and like how he acted like after that. So I don't know, man. I doubt that he's gonna be able to last that series, especially the way that the Knicks play, how they play physical, and they kind of have somebody to match up with them in Mitchell Robinson. So I'm looking forward to the series, and I'm gonna go Knicks. But I'm really looking forward to that Mavs and Clippers game today. That one should be good. I think that's probably going to be the best playoff matchup for this first round. What do you guys think?
I definitely see that Mavericks and Clippers series being dope. It could definitely go either way, but the best game yesterday was that Knicks and Sixers game.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie, in that first half, especially that first quarter, I was fucking worried. Yeah, the Sixers were having their way with them. They were bodying the
Yeah.
shit out of them. But the Knicks kept fighting. The Knicks did not give up. And although it was a close game, although it could have probably gone either way, they still pulled out a win. And that is all I give a shit about.
Yeah, that's what the Knicks do, man. They feel the game out, and then fourth quarter they come in and they handle business. So that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, Knicks all day. New York, New York. This resurgence of the Knicks reminds me of the last time they were good, like when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
The 90s?
yeah,
yeah,
long
right
time
around that
ago.
time where I'm pulling from the nostalgia from this album. So this album is kind of fitting, for the times.
Yeah, the last time they went to the finals and had a chance was the same year and same time frame of the OJ shit.
Yeah, that was a tough time. That was my squad though, and I don't think there'll ever be a tougher team than that. Now, I'm talking like bullies. Maybe Detroit or
I would say Detroit, definitely. They started bully basketball in
yeah,
the
yeah,
NBA.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right. But it's East Coast ball, man. We love East Coast ball. The Knicks are playing great. Wouldn't love more than for them to just keep that up.
Yeah, in the immortal words of
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith, Knicks are going to the conference finals. Knicks are going to the conference finals. Knicks are going to the conference finals.
We'll see, man. We'll see. One game at a time, man. One series at a time. I don't
One
want to get
game at
too
a time.
excited, yo.
Yeah, especially after yesterday's game, it is going to be a long series, whether or not Embiid does play all of it.
Yeah, it should be good though. But I think the Knicks will take it.
It's so funny. This is the first time the Knicks and the Sixers have played each other in the playoffs since 1989.
Damn, I didn't realize that.
Wow. Yeah, just their logos together look like some old
Yeah, that's
timers.
true.
Yeah.
Some ABA type shit, some 1970 type logos and shit.
Yeah, but
Right.
just like that series in 89, I hope this series ends the same with the Knicks winning. I don't know if they're going to sweep them like they did back then, but regardless, I just want them to win.
Nah, I feel it'll gain a game or two. But if Embiid is not healthy though, it's gonna be a short. It's not gonna be that long of a series though. They're gonna need him to play like an MVP level for them to beat the Knicks. The Knicks are not an easy team to beat. You got to really You got to really beat them. They're not gonna beat themselves. So it should be interesting how it plays out.
Yeah, but every other game yesterday besides that one pretty much went the predictable route, like Cleveland winning against the Magic, the fucking Timberwolves beating the shit out of the Suns. I didn't think they were going to beat them by that much, but shit happens.
Yeah, the Suns are whack though. They don't have any discipline, yo. They don't play defense. They don't do the little things to win. So I could have saw that. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, it's so crazy how Kevin Durant has fallen since leaving Golden State. Even Golden State at least got another title since they split up,
It
and
really is.
yeah, just ever since then he
Yeah.
hasn't been on that same level.
Yeah, he fucked up. He should have went to the Knicks instead of the Nets. you see, you see what happens since he made that
See,
decision.
yeah, see, that's what happens when you don't go for the Knicks. You should be thinking of the Knicks first in every
Yeah,
choice. So Kevin Durant, shame on you.
yeah, he picked like the beat.
I think the thing that turned away people from the Knicks for a while was their fucking management, and I get that.
Yeah, but I think we've gotten a lot better over the years. I think Dolan is like
Yeah,
staying away for the most part, and the people we got now, Leon Rose.
Well, we've never been able to pick.
but just in general, there's a difference between the management for the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, the Lakers, and the management for the team like the Knicks. Because there's a reason why certain teams are winning
Mm-hmm.
every year, going into the playoffs and having deep playoff runs every year, because they have good management that make the right moves. And the Knicks, for the longest time, did not have that shit. And that's why they sucked for so long.
Yeah, facts. Part of has something to do with it.
Speaking of basketball, yesterday was actually an interesting anniversary. It marked the 38-year anniversary of Michael Jordan's 63-point game against the Celtics. And yeah, this is like his real coming out party playoff wise. Like, this is like that first real legendary playoff performances that he would go on to have many of as the years went on. And crazy enough, this happened just 3 weeks after I was born.
Wow, I was mad young. I don't even think I was. Yeah, I wasn't even into
Three and a half.
basketball.
You were three and a
Yeah, I
half.
was like stupid young. So yeah, that was way before. I'm pretty sure all of our times. But yeah, you're right. Well, going back and watching the highlights definitely was Jordan's like breakout game, especially against like the Celtics, who were like stacked with fucking Larry Bird and Robert Parrish and all those boys that were down there.
Kevin
So
McHale,
yeah, it was dope to see
Bill
Jordan.
Walton.
It's dope to see Jordan going against them and putting up all those numbers and kind of what it was like letting the league, putting the league on notice that Jordan is here to stay and making some noise.
Yo, fuck Jordan, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
Yo, listen.
As a person, fine.
You
As a
know,
person, fine. I get that.
no, we love we love what he's done for the game. He changed the game. But why he had to do it when I was growing up and won the championship for my Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Those are the closest I've ever been. And he shut it down. Like for my whole life, Jordan just shut it down. You know. Yeah, so props due to him being the best player. I don't think anybody's ever done it like him. When it comes to who we got in the league now, I think the game has just evolved so much that it's becoming fun to watch because there's so many different aspects to it and different players that really take on those aspects. So it's almost like having you have favorite players instead of having a favorite team. Or maybe that's just the thoughts of somebody whose team has sucked for 30 years. But
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of people that say, for example, like Steph Curry, but they're not necessarily fans of the Warriors.
hmm hmm
But at the end of the day, the dude is still relevant compared to most other players. But it just in general, that Jordan game was interesting because Larry Bird afterwards described Michael Jordan not as Michael Jordan, but God disguised as Michael Jordan. Talk about a compliment and a half, son.
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that Celtics team was
Right.
stacked too. That Celtics team was like considered one of the best teams probably in NBA history, that 86 team. And for Jordan to go off on them the way he did and push the game to overtime, that showed you that he was going to be a force and he would go on to be that force. But despite that 63-point performance, that would not help the Bulls win that game, as they would lose the series, and then the Celtics would go on to win the title that year.
No, I was gonna say that those early Bulls teams, it was just Jordan and a whole bunch of random dudes, yo. So yeah, they're lucky they got that far.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen wasn't even on the team yet.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
yeah, that was before Scotty. I think before Oakley was on the team, before Cartwright, all those like before everybody was there. They were pretty whack. Besides Jordan,
Yeah, and you did have some dog teams back then. The Pistons were dogs back then.
the Sixers were Moses Malone and them yeah, they were
Yeah,
they were pretty tough back then too.
Lakers, Lakers,
Yeah,
obviously. But yeah, crazy ass performance nonetheless. And to this day, a performance in the playoffs that has not been topped. No one's ever scored that many points in a playoff game since, as long as I've been alive.
really.
Yeah,
damn.
63 points.
63. That's the
So some people
okay.
hit 50, but not 60. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, that is crazy, and that was 30 years ago.
38 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, but we got more playoff action today, including the Celtics and Heat, which is going to start like in about an hour or so. I think we know how that series is going to end.
Yeah, there's no Jimmy Butler. It's gonna be a sweep. Or I think the Heat might get one game, but other than that, it should be a pretty quick series.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is the Eastern Conference Finals. We've gotten 3 out of the last 4 years, but that shit's not happening this year.
Yeah, probably not. Most likely not.
Let's get into the main events. As hip hop beef has gone to a new high over these last few weeks, specifically since the last time we spoke to you guys. as it's not just Drake and Kendrick Lamar that are involved in all this now. Rick Ross has thrown his head into it. Future and Metro Boomin, obviously. J. Cole briefly until he backed out 2 days later.
Come on, man. J. Cole, man. Damn, J.
Hey,
Cole.
look, I get it. I get it.
Damn, man. J. Cole. Like, we can't even talk about him the same way anymore, man.
Hey, look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to anybody who has a problem with what J. Cole did. If you're going to say he's not the best anymore and say you're not a fan of his anymore because he did that, you were never a fan to begin with. And I stand on that.
Nah, I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of him. I'm just like, I kind of regarded him as, in my eyes, the best out of those three. That was my favorite. And then for him to go out to jump into everything and then, backtrack like a day later, it just makes him look good. It makes him look like he's not built to be the best. In order to be the best, you got to go through the best, or who people so-called call themselves the best. Just like in boxing, just like, any other sport. And for him to kind of like back out, it's like, just, I don't know, man, just makes you look at him differently. I'll put it that way.
I don't know. I think something different is happening in the game right now with this battle. You got to think of it, yo. It's wrestling, yo. This is Royal Rumble.
I'm all for it.
And there's
Everybody
never
jumping
been
in
a,
this.
yo,
Everybody's
there's never
jumping
been
into
an
this
all
battle.
out brawl. Yeah, yo, Chris Brown sent a shot. Who was it? Quavo.
Quavo, yeah,
Oh,
for the
he
Migos.
bodied the shit out of him on that Weakest Link track that dropped
That's
yesterday.
crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'll say this. That is how you diss someone. That is how you fucking body someone. And Quavo's talented in his own right, but there is nothing he can do to top that. I'm sorry. There is nothing he can do to top that.
And I trust J. Cole as like a musician that will be true in real life as well.
Oh yeah. I think
And
he
he and
was
he
on
stood
brand.
on that, and he stood on that for me. And you never know what he knows, man. Like he could have
That's true.
known that it was about to be something different with this battle, and he's like, "Yo, I don't want no parts." You know what I mean? Cats is getting shut down. You know what I mean? Diddy's house is getting raided. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. They're doing AI. They're doing AI in battles now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It has taken a lot of twists and turns, and I see why he kind of backed out because it's not on his brand, and basically like he's trying to be positive and
right.
about bringing people together and whatnot. I get that part of it, but I felt like he shouldn't have jumped in that in the first place. I felt like the shots that Kendrick directed were actually towards Drake, and it wasn't really towards him. And he kind of jumped out there for no reason, and he made himself look bad. I felt like he just should have just took his time and should just let the dust settle and see how everything played out. But he jumped out too quick, and he made himself look really bad, yo.
Well, I
Really
feel
bad.
like he might have been him. Yo, they do this back and forth. They've been doing this for years, man. Him and K Dot. They've been doing this for years, going back and forth with like little jabs and stuff. I don't think, and
Hmm.
you got to think about how long it takes for music to actually come out as well. Everybody waiting for Kendrick to drop a response, and it's been like a week, and if Drake comes out again,
Drake already came out again.
right. But I think people were looking for what was that one where he came back like at Meek Mill, like right after.
The back to back,
Yeah, the back to
the
back
back to
joint.
back.
Like people were thinking like, oh, you're not just gonna take Kendrick out with a back to back. We ain't doing that twice, right? And it's the hip hop Royal Rumble. Yo, I think J. Cole was saying away from the smoke, and Kendrick is about to drop something it's about to take
That's
out
Ruthless.
half the game, bro. You gonna have to pick a side after.
The thing with J. Cole is that he even said himself that like he kind of felt like pressured by like his boys and like people around him to respond the way he did. And even if you go back and listen to 7 Minute Drill, you can kind of get the vibe that like, you know, it's kind of forced and it's not really him, and it's kind of like him like kind of doing something because he feels like he has to. In a way, it's no different than how we criticize certain rappers for doing commercial bullshit songs that aren't them, but they're just doing it because they feel like they have to. I kind of got that
Right.
same vibe from this. And look, him backing out and like him like deciding not to be involved in it anymore, I know is kind of different, and I know it's not what like a lot of hip hop fans want to see. But considering how messy this shit has been getting and all that jazz, I can see
Yeah.
why he would want to back out of it, because he probably doesn't want to deal with that drama, deal with that unnecessary bullshit. Because look, as entertaining as this shit is and as fun as this shit is to talk about, to be a person who's a part of it and in it, I can see how it could get draining, stressful, and just not fucking necessary.
Yeah, I get it. He probably just wants to work on the Fall Off album and, kind of be in that space. And yeah, he doesn't want to be like caught up with this going back and forth between, different rappers and whatnot. And to talk to your point, to touch on your point, Mike, as far as pause, no Diddy, on the part about Kendrick and J. Cole going at each other and whatnot. Yeah, I was gonna say that yeah, the way Kendrick is, like, he's an artist that takes his time and really puts a lot of effort into the songs that he puts out. So I feel like we shouldn't rush him. We should just take our time, let him, craft his response. And I feel like his response is really going to set the tone. I want it to be like on that Chris Brown level, that very disrespectful, mad, like
Yeah,
mad,
I'm telling
mad,
you
like
guys.
Tupac hit him up, energy. That's the type of energy that I was looking for. I was trying to look for somebody to take it to that level.
Right.
The Drake stuff has been cool, but I feel like this is the main event. It's what everybody's waiting for. Everybody's waiting for somebody to call somebody's, out, disrespectfully, like Chris Brown just did on Quavo. So
Mhm.
I think that's what the kind of response we're gonna get from Kendrick. And I feel like when he does drop, it's gonna make a lot of noise. And what I'm saying, I just can't wait. I just want to sit back and watch how everything unfolds, man. But it's a great time for hip hop, though, to kind of bring all of the eyes back onto our genre, and for people to realize what hip hop really is about. It's a competitive sport, and to be the best, you got to prove that you're the best, and you got to go toe to toe with everybody else.
Yeah. What if every year there was a hip hop battle royale, like Royal Rumble? You know, like
That would be dope.
everybody just went at each other. Yo, if you didn't like somebody that last year, then you do something about it.
Do it on pay per view or streaming service or
Kind of
something.
like a verse, kind of like a versus type of thing,
Like a
but
versus
everybody
type of thing.
battle,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody battles out to see who's the best rapper of that year.
Hey, but yo, I gotta give props to Drake for push-ups. I know I've been critical of him on the show before, and like some of his music I'm not as big on anymore. But yo, he went in on push-ups. I gotta give the dude props where it's due.
Yeah, he did.
I personally like the Chris Brown diss to Quavo more, but yo, he definitely went hard in that one too. I saw a comment underneath the video saying this is the Drake that Lil Wayne initially signed.
Yeah, that's the type of Drake that we want, like the one that we heard on Push Ups. So what do you guys think about the Taylor Made, the AI joint with the AI Tupac and Snoop voices? Like what do you guys think about that, and how that's been inserted into the beef that's going on?
I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, I think it's weird too.
It's like Snoop's still alive. Why don't you just but because you know that's not going to happen. It's like um, I don't know, man. It's like the deep fakes to me. I don't like being lied to. I don't like
Yeah,
deception. Because if it wasn't in that voice, would it really be dope?
exactly. So, yeah,
You
what do you
know.
guys think about the song as a whole?
If it were his own voice, it probably would have been taken differently. But yeah, the fact that he sampled Pac and Snoop's for when he probably didn't need to, I can see why people probably weren't feeling that as much. But his part was good though. Like when he just spits himself, that part was dope.
Yeah, that part was good, and from my understanding, that he actually spit those other two verses, the one that had Tupac's voice and Snoop's voice. He just
Yeah, he
kind of
wrote
altered
them.
it. He kind of
Yeah, he
altered
wrote
it.
them, but he just did their voice.
Yeah, he kind of altered it, kind of like what Nas did. I don't know if you remember that song "Live Now," like off of the Streets Disciple album. How he kind of like
Yeah, of course.
changed his voice and made it sound like a female kind of. And some other artists have done it in the past, so he's not the first one that's done it. So it's not this is not new. But the way that Drake is using it, as far as like in AI to make it kind of sound exactly like somebody else that who was living and breathing at one point, and somebody who's actually still alive, that's crazy. And I feel like this is kind of it's a tricky way to insert AI, because this is gonna kind of like open up a can of worms that I feel like other artists are gonna try to use AI and try to get artists who passed away, or like say a Michael Jackson on a song or something like that. I just feel like we don't need that. We don't need to know, and it's gonna kind of confuse people like what's real and what's not real. So I kind of do not like how this is getting added into the beef, because I don't want this to make AI be a part of a big thing about our genre. I hope that this is just a one-off thing, and people don't start using AI in their songs moving forward. So I don't like how Drake kind of like pushed this out there like that. I don't like that part of it.
They tried the AI rollout a couple years ago with the fake AI rapper.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just another way for them to try to get it in again. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They attack you in waves. Um, because they're trying to cut out the artist. That natural artist. But like I don't like. Wouldn't Snoop have something to say about that? Like, yo,
Maybe he
but I
will.
guess he can't.
He did post like a response. He
Yeah,
didn't really say nothing. He just posted like a clip of him reacting to the song, kind of like making like a puzzled
right.
face. But you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. I don't really like it too much, the use of AI. And like I don't even think the song was that good. It just the shock value that he got Tupac and Snoop's voice, like kind of saying like derogatory things, or saying things to like put Kendrick down. But I don't think that it was really that hot. I think it was really just the more of the shock value of him using AI was what made the song.
Yeah, and didn't somebody come out and say like Kendrick responded, and it wasn't really. It was like all AI, and he didn't really respond.
Yeah, yeah, I heard
Yeah, I
that part
hate
of that
that
too.
shit. Like,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
I hate
saying? To
shit
be
like that.
fooling people. I don't want to be fooled. I want to be entertained.
Exactly. I don't really put too much stock into these songs unless it's out on like a Spotify or Apple Music, something along those lines, title where I can actually listen to the song and stream it. I'm not gonna really consider it a legit track. You know what I'm saying? Because Hit 'Em Up, all these other diss songs, Ether, Takeover, all these other songs are on streaming
Vaseline.
services. Even though they weren't out at that time, they were out and people can actually buy the single or listen to the single. Like these songs, you don't know if it's real or not. So the way I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna take it is if it's not on streaming services, it's not real. That's how I'm gonna look at it.
Right.
And Rick Ross put his song out on it. Push Ups is out is on streaming services. Chris Brown's song is out, the original like that with Kendrick and Metro Boomin and them. The Future is out, but this Taylor Made and some of the other songs are not out on streaming services yet. So I'm not gonna really count those like in the battle, at least for me.
Yeah, and speaking of Rick Ross also did implement himself into this with the Champagne Moments track, where he accused Drake of getting a nose job, and he also accused Drake of having a cease and desist delivered to French Montana. That's kind of why like he stopped fucking with him, he said. And he called him like white boy, and he was talking about how he wanted to hang with the niggas to smoke, and he would like to have to like lie to his mom about how he would be out late and all this other jazz. Yeah, it's funny with all these different people beefing and all these different people like going at each other. Guess who the common denominator is in all of this?
Straight. He's done something that I don't know, something that we don't know, something behind the scenes is going on that I don't know. I don't think some people are saying it's over a girl. I think it's bigger than that. I don't see
That's
people,
what most of his beefs are about.
but I don't see people are these this amount of people beefing over a girl, over a female that they're probably passing around or something or whatever. I don't feel like it's that. I feel like it has something to do with business wise or something, some shady deal or something that didn't go down. That didn't go down right the way it was supposed to, and people are beefing and taking sides. So I feel like it's some business thing gone wrong, and people just taking sides. So I don't know, but I don't think it's over a girl or anything like that. I hope it's not over a girl. This would
That
be
nigga's
mad sad
Thanos.
if it's over all of this for over a girl.
Well, that's what he's mainly known for, and like what people like kind of mainly criticize him for is for like hooking up with other dudes' girls. There was even like a story that he hooked up with Lil Wayne's girl while he was locked up.
Wow, want to hear about that?
Yeah, like he has a history of doing this kind of shit, among other things. And yeah, like learning about these things, yeah, it kind of does put a bad taste in your mouth. And honestly, it's making me want to diss Drake too. I think I'm gonna drop my diss to him this week.
Yo, get them numbers up, kid. Get them numbers
But
up.
yeah, man, we're seeing to see how it plays out. I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for Kendrick to reply, and I feel like Drake is kind of getting corny with the AI shit. I didn't really like that shit, and yeah, I just hope that you know that Kendrick comes back sooner rather than later, and let's take it to that Chris Brown level, man. That's what I want to see.
What do you think of Kanye's diss? The like that remix?
I was feeling that the way they manipulated the beat to make it sound a little bit different, it sounded dope. Kanye like kind of added his sauce to it, no Diddy, and yeah, it was a pretty dope song, and I like how he kind of took a jab at Drake and J Cole, and
Yeah.
he's like make the pussy dry, just listen to J Cole, and then he posted
Now it's
something
like
online.
he said can't think of one Drake line. Playing J. Cole gets the pussy dry. Play this shit
Just
130
like,
times. Yeah, that shit was hard.
and then did you see what he posted on
Oh
Instagram after?
man.
Oh shit, I did
Kanye
see that. You
posted?
sent that to me. I did see that.
Yo, he posted a picture of like it was like a cartoon of some dude and a girl, and then the in the caption it says oh do you listen to J Cole, and then the dude says no in his caption, and then the next picture is the girl giving him head. Like it was mad funny, yo. You can go on Kanye's Instagram page and check it out, but that shit is hilarious, yo.
Hey, maybe J. Cole will come for him. Maybe he won't come for Kendrick, but maybe he'll come for Kanye.
Well, J Cole's been throwing shots at Kanye for years, ever since that false
Oh yeah,
prophet.
he has. He has. That's
He's
right.
been throwing jabs at him for years. So, yo, it's gonna get interesting. Like you said, man, it's about to be the
False
Royal
prophets
Rumble.
joint.
Everybody's going at each other. It's gonna be some tag team matches, some triple threats. Like it's gonna be a lot going on, man. And I'm here all for it, man.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Yo, it's every morning I wake up and somebody else dissing somebody else, and I'm like, yo, J Cole knew. This is why he's like, yo,
Could
and
be.
but I think it's part of his rollout. To be honest, you know what I'm saying. He's got a lot of people behind him, yo. He's got a lot of people behind him, and for something like this to happen, things need to be planned and
Hmm.
strategized like months in advance. And we don't see it because we don't see it for months in advance. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff, everything that we're
Hmm.
looking at already happened before they had time to fix it. It was already thought of before, and you know, um, once we see it,
Yeah, you're right.
they're a couple weeks ahead of it already. So, and J
Hmm.
Cole's got an album coming out. He's got the Fall Off coming, right? Um, this might play right into his rollout where he does back out. People try to pull him in. K Dot drops a bomb,
Hmm.
and he survives the fallout, you know, fall off during the fallout. I would love to see, strategic moves like that from Cole. I would love to see a really strategic play by Kendrick. I'm excited for what he's about to add to it. And if Kanye is gunning for him, I feel like it's a real temperature for like Cat Williams to drop
Yeah.
a rap record and just get everybody and just call everybody out. You know what I mean? Nah, I mean, yeah, I know he ain't gonna do that, but we need a Cat Williams type of
That's
ether
what I'm waiting on.
record
And
from
why
when he
why did it
dropped.
take an R and
That's
B
what
dude
we
to
need.
take it to that level though? Why did it take Chris Brown to take it to that hit him up ether level, takeover level? Why? Like I don't that,
Chris Brown's always been nasty
Yeah,
like that.
no, but Chris Brown really wants that smoke with Quavo. Like he's been going at him for years. Like
yeah,
there's
he
videos like he's
does.
been calling him out. And then this song, I wasn't really expecting it.
Yeah, but
Yo,
Quavo can't rap like that.
Nah,
He's
nah,
not
nah,
gonna be
nah.
able to.
no, that's why I said he's not gonna be able to do anything to top that. It's done.
Yeah, that's not.
But yo, how hard was that line? How hard was that line where he said, "When Takeoff died, they wish it was you instead."
Yo,
Yo,
that's I
that
had to
was
pause it and
mean.
I had to
That
be
was
like, yo,
mean.
son, that's a low. He did take it kind of far though. He got real personal
it's
Nah,
getting nasty outside,
and he
bro.
pushed
It's
some
getting
buttons,
nasty
yo.
nah. I'm telling you, bro. My friends and I would battle like this. We'd say like similar shit like that to each other in our battles. So I
Nah, but
wasn't
that's
that
for fun.
surprised. But
That's for
shit.
fun though. This is like if I see you, it's on site type of like
It's like,
if I see you, somebody's
do
going to
they
the
know each other?
hospital.
Do they know each other?
Oh, they definitely know each other.
Nah, they had to like sit next to each other during like New York Fashion Week recently, and that's kind of like how this thing got like reignited. But yeah, I don't think they're sitting next to each other at any of those events again after this.
Yeah, and then Quavo dated remember Carucci? Remember Carucci's the Chris Brown's like girl that he like swore about, made songs about, that he was like mad in love with a few years ago, and then supposedly Quavo started dating her,
Mm.
and then supposedly Chris Brown and Quavo was supposed to be cool. Like it's kind of like you guys, your boys with somebody, and then you know your boy ended up dating one of your exes. Like it's kind of like
Right?
off limits, you know what
He
I'm saying? You
came
can't be
after
doing
you.
stuff like
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
I don't mess with people like that, so I kind of understand where Chris Brown is coming from. Yeah, I feel like he broke a bro code by doing that.
That's what Drake pretty much does, from what everybody says.
Well, maybe they're not friends at all. Maybe they just fake like they're friends on camera and make songs together to make money, but maybe they're not really cool like that. Maybe this is what this beef is showing us. Like all this is all charades and it's all fun and games, but they don't really like mess with each other like that. They just make songs and get money together. That's it. That's all it
I
is.
remember Drake and Rick Ross used to do songs together all the time, like back in 2010, 2011, like Ashton Martin music, that song, that DJ Khaled song with Lil
Even a
Wayne.
couple years ago, even that Lemon Pepper freestyle that came out a couple of years ago with Ross, Drake, and I think Lil Baby was on it too. Yeah, they've been doing songs like together for it's not, and even on the Loverboy album, I think Ross was on there too with Lil Wayne. They had a track together, so they've been doing songs together for a minute.
How times have
But I
changed.
didn't think they had beef like this because Drake dropped the album with Future back in the day, and they've done numerous songs together. Like I would have never thought that they were beefing behind the scenes like that. I didn't think I thought they were always cool.
Drake's even beefing with the fucking Weekend.
Yeah, they've had beef too. It's
That
everybody,
shit is
man.
nuts.
I heard the line that supposedly the weekend dropped about.
Like not selling his soul or something.
Hmm.
Right, and it was the weirdest feeling for me. I was just like, should an R&B cat be singing a diss? I
Singing the
mean,
diss.
I think they did that in R&B before, didn't they? Didn't I think Chris Brown was one of them ones who was down like R&B battle with
Well,
niggas.
there was
I
R.
thought it
Kelly.
was
There was R. Kelly and Cisco back in like the early 2000s. I remember
is
that
that who
one.
it was? Okay, yeah, because I remember. But isn't that weird though? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like two times in history that's ever been done, and I don't think.
And I heard Luther
Um,
Vandross and Anita Baker had beef, but I don't know if they ever did diss songs to each other.
oh yeah,
I don't think they did this song.
beef back in the day with all them damn groups, one of them 4 or 5 man groups. Oh yeah, man.
Even New Edition had problems. They kicked Bobby Brown out at one point.
Oh yeah, them little niggas, it was trouble.
Well, back then they were little niggas.
Yeah. But
They old niggas
yo, but
now.
I mean, have we even heard of a cat coming off of singing to rap battle your ass? Uh, Like, have we ever heard of that happening before?
Nah, this is
Like,
the
this is
first
a
time.
crazy time, yo. 2024, y'all better get ready, yo. Things are happening in 2024 that ain't never happened before, yo. It just but you know that it's going to happen more. It's just like setting the stage for a stranger world
Hmm.
because you have competition. That's why AI is being added into it. It's making things easier. It's really going to change the way that we interact with each other. So I want to see who else is going to come out rapping. Yo, Taylor Swift is going to come out with a diss record next.
Oh shit! Oh, that would be hilarious.
She actually
Taylor Swift.
did. She actually did come out with a diss
Taylor
record.
Swift dissed Katy Perry once.
No, she did. Kim Kardashian the other day
For real?
in a new song she came out with.
Oh boy!
Yeah, that ass, that serious.
Wow!
Yeah, but I know they had beef since the Kanye
Oh
stuff
wow.
from years ago. So it's just wild, yo. This year is wild, man.
And it's only April.
For real.
Yeah,
Yeah, first that Cat Williams interview, then the Usher shit with the Super Bowl, and all the Diddy stuff going on, which we'll get into in a few minutes, and now all this rap beef. Yeah, I don't even want to know what's gonna
yeah,
happen
it's
next
crazy.
month.
You know what I mean? Hit the summer. When it gets
Right.
hot,
Yeah,
that's when
that's
people
when it's
really
really
get
gonna explode.
agitated and annoyed, yo. So once we hit the summer, it's gonna get really hot. And even the females are fighting too.
Yep.
Like
What else is new?
Glorilla, JT, Megan Thee Stallion, all these girls are fighting too. Cardi
Ice
B, all
Spice.
these girls are fighting too. So it's not just the men. So like it's a lot going on right now, and I'm just enjoying this, taking it back, taking hip hop back to what it really was about.
I'm just here for the comments.
Oh, I love. I've been. That's one thing I've been love watching the comment section the last few weeks when everything comes out. Like I'll just check the comments just to see what everybody's saying about it, and it's just been entertaining. A lot of entertainment on social media the last few weeks, man.
Yeah, definitely. But let's switch gears to our next story as the never ending story of Diddy continues to have different people chiming in on it. And two of the people who chimed in on it recently were two of his former artists, including one Dep, who was recently released from prison after serving 13 years of a 15-year sentence. And he recently gave an interview to Fox 5 in New York. I know we know that station very well. He gave an interview to them. And he basically talked about how he never heard about any of the things that Diddy's being accused of now, like the wild parties, the raping people, assaulting people, all that other jazz. He's saying specifically he never heard of any of this. And then right after he said this, he went on to look in the camera talking directly to Diddy, saying that he wrote a bunch of music while he was in prison and he's ready to get back into the studio and collaborate and make music. So yeah, after saying that, I can kind of tell what maybe his MO is.
Bless Dep's heart, man. Like
Yeah,
for
for
him
real.
to, you know how he got locked up, right? Like the whole story. You guys know the backstory.
He committed a murder like in the 90s, and then like almost 20 years later, he confessed to it.
Yeah, because said it was like eating him up and like messing with his soul and conscience that he had that on his head, and he never admitted it to it. Whatever. But fast forward, he's out now, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what's going on with Diddy, not too much, and he wasn't around Diddy when Diddy was like this. When Diddy, got caught up with the Ciroc stuff. That's when Diddy took that next level to, what I'm saying, to where everybody knows
What's
him, not
going
just
on now?
hip hop. Yeah, so I don't think G Dep was around where Diddy, Diddy's at this point of his career for him to know and to be into those parties. I'm sure he's been to parties, but I don't, not to the level that where people are talking about right now. So and then he just been locked up for so long, he just doesn't know any better. And Diddy was the last person that he kind of worked with, before he got locked up. So it makes sense for him to kind of reach back out, but I don't know. I just feel like G Dep just should just figure something else out, man, because that ship has already sailed, and I don't think Diddy's gonna be making music anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah. There's not gonna be another G Dep and P Diddy record. But what could happen is G Dep could apply for private security for Diddy when he dipped the Bali.
Something
So
like that.
he's looking in the camera talking about Diddy hook me up with a job, bro. Like what I'm saying. I know where the money at.
Yeah, he's just trying to get himself established, trying to make some money. He's been locked up for so long, like and when you're locked up for a while like that, I'm sure you lose touch with society and what's going on, and it takes you a while to kind of get used to everything and get caught up with technology and social media, and there's a lot has changed since before he got locked up till now. So it's gonna take him some time to get caught up.
Yeah, I think the vibe I got from it, from what he said, was that he just kind of wants to like be in Diddy's good graces for the potential of maybe them working together. But with everything going on right now, yeah, I don't see any Diddy projects coming out anytime soon. And if they do, I don't think anybody's gonna be checking for him.
Nah, not anytime soon.
And also, he did another interview where he was talking about how like he never had any financial issues with Bad Boy the way that other artists did, because he talked about how like he negotiated his contract and got a lawyer and made sure like everything was straight before he signed anything. And he basically said when he was on Bad Boy, like he was doing fine, like he wasn't struggling, he wasn't like having any money issues. And he just said like the difference between me and those other artists is that they didn't read their contract and they weren't smart, and that's why they had the problems that they did, unlike me.
Gotta get your paperwork right.
Yeah, you got to have your paperwork right if you're gonna think about being an artist. you gotta make sure you have some type of lawyer involved because most of the times the artists get jerked, and then the only way they really make money is off of going on tours and selling merch. They don't really make money off of selling albums and making songs like that. So yeah, you just gotta be smart, and it's smart that he actually got a lawyer and negotiated his contract before he actually signed. A lot of artists, they don't think about that. They just like, oh, I'm gonna get signed. I'm gonna be on TV. I'm gonna make songs. I'm riding with Diddy or whoever, and I'm famous now. But they don't realize how much money they're getting. Money is getting taken out of the money that they're making. So it's good that he actually followed through and got a lawyer and whatnot.
Yeah, because I always think of that New Edition story when they like first got on, like when they first signed their first record deal, like when the Candy Girl shit came out and all that. They went on tour. That song was like mad popular, and then when they got off the tour, they got dropped off in front of the Roxbury Projects, and they only made $3 a piece.
Yeah, it's nuts. So
After that song was such a hit, and they were on tour and everywhere, they only made $3 a piece after all that. What the fuck?
yeah, it's wild. So
They got diddied.
That's why Michael Bivins became such a businessman as the years went on because of that shit happening. He like really learned a hard lesson from that.
yep. So
Then he put on Boys to Men.
yeah, he figured it out.
But yeah, this whole G-Dep thing, yeah, you are right. He has been gone a while, so he's probably not really like hip to like what Diddy's being accused of. But I think if he starts to learn enough about it, maybe he might take back some of the things he said.
Yeah, I think that was, I don't know. I think he shouldn't be on camera this soon. I think he should take some time. Like even BG, he's been out for a long time. He's not even really on camera like that. So, it takes time for you to get adjusted back to society, man. You can't just be jumping out there like that. That could make him look bad though. Like he's trying to connect with Diddy, and then everybody's like, nah, I'm staying away from Diddy, and can make him look, make people not want to work with him because he's trying to associate himself with Diddy. So yeah, he's got to be careful, man.
Yeah, he was also saying you should give Diddy like the benefit of the doubt and that he's not been proven guilty yet. So yeah, it's clear that he's like really on the Diddy bandwagon right now, or at least for the time being.
Well, he should be given the benefit of the doubt because he really hasn't been convicted of a crime. He hasn't been arrested. They just raided his house, and there's a lot of allegations, but people have been, accused of things in the past, and they've never been convicted. OJ for one example, and people.
But we all know deep down that there was some fishy shit going on with him in that case.
Oh yeah,
I know
yeah,
he got
of
acquitted
course.
and all, but
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he never, his rep never recovered from that. Even though he was found not guilty, he never recovered from that. And then Diddy's most likely not going to recover from this. So hey, he's got to be careful, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's no way Diddy's coming
Yeah,
back from this show
no,
because everybody in their gut already knows that there was something sus about Diddy.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And now this stuff comes out, even if that's why I say he dipping off the Bali with Russell
Yeah,
Simmons.
he's in Taiwan. That's some like yoga retreat or some shit, meditating,
yeah, we're never gonna
some
see.
shit. But yeah, that's definitely what he got going on right now.
Yeah, and another artist of Diddy's from back in the day that was opening up about him recently was Jamal Shine Barrow in a recent interview. And he was basically talking about how Natanya Rubin, the woman who was shot at the Club New York incident in 99 that got him sent to prison for 10 years, how she was opening up about how Diddy was the one who really shot her. And he basically said that he was relieved at the fact that, her and other people were actually saying that, because he said for years he's been saying the exact same thing, that he was the fall guy in that whole scenario. He was the one who took the heat when he wasn't really the one who did anything. Yeah, he just basically said that he like felt a relief that, people are now believing the real story and like what really happened. But he did say that like he just does his best to keep this shit like in the past and put it behind him, understandably so.
All right.
But yeah, it's crazy that like considering that he was the one who paid for one of Diddy's sins, among other people who have gone through their issues with Diddy over the years, he may not have been like convicted of anything yet and all that jazz. But like I've said before on this show, among other shows, where there is smoke, there is fire. And considering that Shyne was probably one of the main ones who suffered because of Diddy, there's plenty of smoke to be found here.
Yeah, it's just
Blood is in the water.
just sad, man. That Sean lost like a good portion of his life being locked up over something that he didn't even do, and he's always said that he never did. And this female that actually got shot when it came out and said that it wasn't Sean who shot me, it was somebody else. And yeah,
It wasn't somebody else, it was Diddy.
Yeah, it was Diddy, but yeah, just yeah, man. Like what my I'm interested to see is or to hear how come nobody's ever asked J Lo what happened. I don't know. I don't remember what happened around that time when the thing came out. But weren't Diddy and J Lo together at that time? And wasn't J Lo in the club that night when all this went down?
Yeah, she was. She
How
was.
come nobody? How come nobody? J Lo's never did an interview about this or ever talked about it. How come she gets a pass and everybody else gets asked about this?
Because J Lo's kept quiet the whole time.
Yeah, she's been mad quiet. I'm pretty sure she knew, and that's why they kind of broke up and she dipped off,
Yep,
and
she
went
was
to
like,
Ben
"Yo, I ain't
Affleck,
gonna
and
tell
she's
nobody.
like,
Just leave me
I'm done.
alone." You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get into your shit.
Yeah, I just felt that I always like felt I always was interesting to me that how come Jada never spoke about it and never talked about it since then after they broke up. So
I'm sure she's more concerned about the fact that she has more rings than Michael Jordan. That's probably why she hasn't talked about it.
yeah, yeah, man. So but
That's another story for another time.
yeah, but nonetheless, just sad that Shine, lost a good portion of his his longer life, and he had to go to jail for something that he didn't even really do. That he's say that he's been innocent the whole time, and yeah, if this is true, did do it, man. He definitely should be face the consequences for his actions. Definitely not a good look, man.
Well, considering that he dipped off to some other country, some other island, I don't think he's gonna maybe face those real consequences until his afterlife.
Yeah, definitely got it. You may be able to get away from people down here, but God definitely gonna have the final say. So gonna get it one way or the other.
I'm disgusted at that, like part of the industry. I realize it's there. Just I don't try to get too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I'll ever be in one of those situations, and you don't want to try to manifest yourself into one of those situations anyway.
All right.
Um, I just feel sorry for the victims. People like Sean, people like Cassie, um,
Yeah.
and
His producer,
yeah.
that little Rod dude.
Pause. Yeah.
Pause. Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, man. I try to really stay away from it in all accounts. And whether he did it or not, didn't do it. We all know who Diddy is. So
Yeah, just at the end of the day, I feel like the music industry and also Hollywood go hand in hand with like a lot of the behind the scenes bullshit we hear about, like a lot of like
yeah.
the pedophilia, the sex trafficking, all that bullshit. Yeah, I feel like they
Hmm.
go hand in hand. I've always heard the music industry described as the devil's playground, and I guess some of the devils that run that playground are ones that we grew up being fans of.
Yeah. It's just sad, man.
All right, but let's get into some more positive news. This past week, 50 Cent launched G Unit Studios in Shreveport, Louisiana. And actually, in that same ceremony, that specific day in Shreveport was named Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Day. So basically, now we have two major black film studios in this country, the one that Tyler Perry has here in Atlanta, and now the one that 50 Cent has now opened in Shreveport. Yo, this is a good look, bro. Who would have ever thought when G Unit like first became a thing, like in the early 2000s when 50 first dropped and they had the sneakers and the record label and all that jazz, they would have their own film studios. I never
Yeah.
thought this shit would happen, but I'm glad it is.
Congratulations, 50. Props to the 50. It's just beautiful to see, yo. I thought the location was kind of funny at first, but the South makes sense, for
Yeah.
studio locations. But I just love to see another hip hop artist really transcend into different genres, keep himself relevant, pushing the culture forward, really, making jobs for people, and doing right by the people that he works with. Um, props to big up.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to 50. Yeah, this is dope, man. This is to place a movie studio in like a predominantly black city, I would say, and gives more people of color more opportunities to get jobs and to make it within the industry. And 50's been doing this thing, getting into the movies and then the TV shows over the last few years. Obviously he's done Power, BMF, and a bunch of other shows and whatnot. So it's dope to see him evolve and move into this space and to give back to that community, which I feel like is going to be, a good place to push the culture forward, and for a lot of dope things to come out of it. So I'm interested to see, what 50's able to do with now he has his G Unit Studios. I know we got a couple here in Atlanta, and a lot of movies are shot here, and there's a lot of opportunity, especially for people of color, to make moves. So I'm glad that he's able to open the doors, and he didn't put it in a place where people who already have those type of opportunities get more opportunities. He's giving back to people who are less fortunate. So, but it's good to see him evolve over the years.
Yeah, from Get Rich or Die Trying, the whole G Unit brand, all the way to the vitamin water stuff, to starting Power. Like, we didn't know what to expect from Power when it first started, and then it became such a big hit, and now it has like 3 different spin-offs, and all of that turned into a fucking film studios.
Yeah, turn to an empire, man.
Yeah, you just never know how something like, that starts out not necessarily small, but something that just starts off on one level and you just think it's going to be one thing, just branches into like 50 different other things. It's a great thing to see, bro. And yeah, it's great to have something like this for like more opportunities for African Americans and the movie industry who want to get into it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what work comes out of this in the next coming years.
Yeah, so shouts out to 50 and his team,
Yo, he must have been a great gangster. Like, you know how 50 is just good at everything he does?
Yeah,
Like, he must have been a great gangster. Yeah.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Shout out to 50, yo.
Yeah, and he's been one of the most consistent people calling out Diddy for years. So you got to give him his credit for that too.
Yeah, he has been. He hasn't stopped for years.
Yeah, I heard the only reason he ain't come for Drake is because M gives Drake a pass.
Well, 50 kind of siding with Drake because 50 doesn't like Rick Ross, so he kind of
Oh
like
yeah, that's right. They don't like each
Oh,
other.
true.
That's right.
yeah. So that's an interesting thing about this beef. There's a lot of cross beefs and mingled in between the big beef. So that's what's making this like on another taking this to a whole nother level, yo.
It's like 4 storylines combined into one.
Yeah, for real.
It's like a boxing match. You know, you have the undercards, and everybody just waiting on the main event right now.
So we waiting, Kendrick.
But the undercards and the main events are all like intertwined with each other.
Yeah, they all connected
Yep.
somewhere or another.
I'm telling you, this is a marketing move. A marketing move. We're gonna see hip hop on pay-per-view.
Maybe, or this might be a hip hop. We are the world. We have to come after this. Maybe that's what they're
Yo,
trying to do.
listen, that's crazy. A hip hop.
We are the world. I hope nobody gets hurt, man.
No, but see, that's why I think it's different now because ain't nobody gonna get hurt. I mean, I think Chris Brown is the only one really.
I think
taking
Chris
it
Brown or Quavo
yeah.
wanted them to get hurt,
Yeah,
but
that
I
shit
don't think
sounds
the other
personal.
people.
But
That
everybody
just sounds
else,
personal.
you know, ain't nothing gonna happen. This is a very safe battle, and I think that's why you have to add all of these other elements because, the battles in the past haven't been safe. You know, so, people on both sides could really get hurt. You know,
Yeah,
like with 50 and Fat Joe.
The VMAs, that shit kind of popped off that year in '05.
Yeah, but like now that they settled that, I think that's probably the last real street beef
street
between
beef.
artists that we're gonna have.
Yeah,
These cats are in the making the money. They're never gonna see each other in real life anyway. Um, it's just gonna be a way for some people to build up a little bit of a buzz. And
yeah,
ride that into a rollout or something. But for others, maybe it just might just be personal. Putting personal stuff out there. Because I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that ether, yo. We need one of them Cat Williams
we
ethers,
need to
bro.
eat there,
We
man.
need that.
We need to eat there. We need a global
Yeah.
global warming type of
Yo,
response, though.
we
That's
need a
what
COVID record.
A COVID record.
we need something.
Yeah, just take out. We need to run COVID through the industry and just see who survives, yo.
Oh shit. All right, but let's get into some anniversaries real fast.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to this first one we're going to talk about, as this past week marked the 34-year anniversary of the premiere of In Living Color. And it was basically the black version of SNL, and one of the shows that not only put the Wayans brothers on the map, also Jim Carrey and Jamie Foxx, among other people, on the map, but also put the Fox network that we know of today on the map. And that early period of Fox, this is one of those shows that really established it, along with Married with Children, 90210, and The Simpsons. And Living Color, you could definitely throw into that mix. And yeah, this show was a big deal when it first came out, with the amount of black talent on this show at the time that you really didn't see before on TV. It was definitely something that would lead to like a lot of the movies, a lot of the TV, and also great entertainment we would see as the 90s went on. A lot of that shit can be credited to In Living Color and Keenan Ivory Wayans. King Khan and Mike, what were your initial memories of In Living Color when you guys first saw it? And what did you think of it compared to other shows that were on TV at the time?
No man, that was my show. I remember watching it before, like after every like Sunday football game. They used to come on after. I remember watching it, and yeah, it was just a dope, fun show, man. A lot, like you said, a lot of the actresses, comedians, actors came from that show and became big stars. Just getting their feet wet in that show. So it was dope. And then also they used to have a lot of it's one of the shows that had a lot of performances too. They had a lot of hip hop acts to close out the show. So that was a lot of. I remember seeing the Tribe Called Quest and mad
Queen
other groups back
Latifah.
in that time. Queen Latifah, mad groups, Das Effects, just to name a few, like performed at towards the end of the show. And it's also where J Lo got her start as one of the fly girls as well. So just a dope show. And this is also what kind of like sparked the idea for Dave Chappelle to do the Chappelle show later on down the line. This is one of the first like African American like skit shows that was pretty popular. It was mainstream. They made fun of pretty much everybody got it.
Yeah.
And I used to love when they used to make fun of those like music videos. I remember the Michael Jackson video they made
Van-
fun of, the Vanilla
the
Ice.
Vanilla Ice video with Jim Carrey, that shit was classic.
Yo, there was mad different
White baby.
the Shabba
She's
Ranks
homeless.
Mr. Ugly Man with Shabba Ranks and I think Sean
Yeah,
Wayans
that's it.
was Shabba Ranks. Oh, that show was hilarious. So I missed
Oh
that show, man. That was like one of the best
man,
shows, and that show was hilarious, man.
Or the She's Homeless with Kim Wayans. Ha ha he, ha ha ha. Pay per view, yabba dabba doo. That shit.
Yeah, yo, that show was like
yeah, that was
stupid, funny,
classic
man.
too.
It's just hilarious, man. And it's dope how the Wayne's brother just kept it in the family and then just had everybody on the show. They had Sean as like the DJ S1, I think his name was, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just a dope show for the culture, man. Just a lot of a lot of up and coming artists. You had the music. You just like a good melting pot of for the culture, man. It was just a dope show, and I wish we had a show like that, during this time where we can see stuff like that. But it was definitely dope.
Yeah, my man Jim Carrey, Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh yeah,
Let me tell you.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Um, but yeah, yo, it was what a dope show that was. What an example of how you can get a group of people together and who all got each other's back and really not only together make a name for themselves in the industry, but just create longevity for each and every individual who was part of that. Um,
Hmm.
so and the Wayans brothers, they don't miss, man. So it was great for them to be able to establish that.
That was the launching pad pretty much for the whole family from Keenan. Keenan had already been doing projects before, like he did I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. This is like the project that really put him on the map as like a director and producer, and also the rest of the family, like Damon Wayans being one of them. I feel like at the time, Damon Wayans was the one who was like meant to be like the breakout star of it. Obviously, Jim Carrey and Jamie Foxx ended up being that, but I feel like at the time as the show was going on, he was probably the one they were probably thinking would
Homie,
be
don't
the.
play that. Remember?
He was killing it on this though with the homie the clown skits, bro.
Now I was gonna say that we were forgetting two people who were like stars as well. David Allen Greer and Tommy Davidson. Those were people who were like mad funny
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
them too.
Like they were on that show too, and they were like pretty much two of the biggest stars on that show as well. with their it's raining men. What was that
Oh
that skit that they used to do when they used to
yeah.
they used to dress up as females and then talk shit about the movies and stuff.
Like the gay Siskel and Ebert, like the black gay
Yeah,
Siskel and
yeah.
Ebert. It was Damon
And then
Wayans
the
and
two
David
snaps,
Allen Greer. Yeah, they would do that shit.
the two snaps and a twist. Hated it. Oh, that shit, that show, man, it was hilarious, man. Yeah,
I
I gotta go
remember
watch that show today.
I remember Wanda, the chick that Jamie Foxx would play, the really ugly chick.
Oh yeah,
There was that one skit on the dating game where like Jim Carrey was the host, and like all the dudes were like trying to win Wanda, like win a date with Wanda, and then when they lose and then they see her, they're like, "Oh, what the fuck? Thank God I didn't win." And then when
yeah, I remember that.
Tommy Davidson sees her, like because Tommy Davidson's the one who won. When Tommy Davidson sees her, he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he like jumps into Jim Carrey's arms and he like tries to
Yeah,
run.
no, that shit was
He's
hilarious. And then there was remember the they used to have that the Dirty Dozens, that game show where they were like crack jokes on each other, like your mama's so fat, you're so ugly. Remember that shit?
shit. That one's not ringing a bell as much, but keep going.
It was around the Jamie Foxx time. Like it was like when it was called the Dirty Dozen. They would have like it was like a game show, and then they would like pick categories like it was Jeopardy, and then they
That's
would make
funny. That
jokes. Like you
sounds
had to make a
cool.
joke.
I'm never seen that. I'm gonna look that up though.
You guys got to look it up, man. I can't believe you guys don't remember that. But it used to be like your mama's so fat, or your mama's so broke, or your mama's so broke she can't pay attention. Like they used to say shit like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Kind of like the stuff that
inside
we
the
used to
show.
do in
Yes, I do
school.
remember this. Yeah, I do remember this.
I'm telling you, you got to watch that. You got to look that up, man.
That boy Jamie Foxx, boy, he came up on this. He was great at that.
Yeah, definitely. But
Big breasts.
oh yeah, she got big
Birds flying over a girl with big breasts.
Yo, Dave Allen Greer is hilarious, bro.
Yo, but how dope was the theme song to the show? The original theme song. How dope
Right.
was
Still
that?
rocks to this day.
Do what you wanna do.
Is and Living Color on Netflix or anything?
It's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll check it out on YouTube. Sometimes the little quality is not all there, but
It's not, but whatever, you can still watch it. I remember that when they were spoofing the black or white video, like the end of the black or white video when Michael Jackson like destroys the car with his baseball bat, and then the police officer walks by and he asks them, "Am I black or am I white?" And the police officer says, "You're under arrest," and then he says, "I guess I am black."
yo, man, that show, a lot of that stuff couldn't fly these days.
No, it could not.
Oh,
It
man,
could not fly
sensitive.
in 2024.
Yo, but the shit that happened on that show, man, it was just made me cry laughing, man. Just a lot. Everybody got it. Every race they made fun of. Like everybody, it was just funny, man. I missed that show. So shouts out to the Wayans brothers and everybody who was a part of that show, man.
Yeah, classic.
I'm still pissed we didn't get a Homie the Clown movie. That would have been great.
Well, we got Blank Man.
We got Blank Man.
We got Blank Man.
I'd rather forget that movie.
Yeah, that show was funny.
I think we saw that in the theaters together. Yeah, we did see that in the theaters together.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
That's another story, but yeah, it was great up until the Fox executives got on some bullshit and they started like censor them, and it got to the point where Keenan Ivory Wayans and pretty much the rest of the whole Wayans family just dipped. Like the last season of it, the last like season or two of it isn't really watchable.
Yeah, it's had a lot going on, and by that time they were in movies and started doing other stuff. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, Damon Wayans eventually left because he wanted to get into movies himself, but he was in movies, but I wouldn't call him like a movie star.
Nah, not until like Low Down Dirty Shame. I think that was the movie he came out with, right?
That was Keenan Ivory Wayans.
It was More Money was the movie, right?
Nah, that movie wasn't anything like that huge. I mean, yeah, he was in it and all, but yeah, that wasn't anything like
That was like his
or huge success.
You know, Stacey Dash. Him and Stacey Dash were in that movie. I remember that was Stacey Dash like breakout. I remember that.
That was like her first major
More
thing.
Money.
Yeah. And yeah, he had that movie The Last Boy Scout with like Bruce Willis. I remember during that period. He had that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then obviously Major Pain, which I'd rather forget too. It's so funny. It's because of In Living Color that we now have like the big ass Super Bowl halftime shows that we do now. Because there was one year where In Living Color played like a live episode up against the halftime show of the Super Bowl, and they did better ratings than the halftime show did. And then the next year, that's when the Super Bowl had Michael Jackson perform for the halftime show, and that's why we've been having like those big ass epic halftime shows ever since.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Wow,
Yeah, some crazy
that's
shit.
cool.
All right, let's move on to our next anniversary. King Khan, I know you're looking forward to this one, as this past Friday, April 19th, marked the 30-year anniversary of Nas's debut album, Illmatic.
Yes, sir. Possibly the
Yes.
the I would say the blueprint for hip hop albums that will come out in the '90s.
Yes, especially of that era. I feel like that and also Ready to Die that later that year kind of put the East Coast back on the map again. It started with Midnight Marauders and 36 Chambers, but it was really with Illmatic where you were like, yo, the East is back. The East is back.
I don't really know what to really say about this album because like this album is only like 10 tracks. There's no skips. It's only about 40 minutes long. You got legendary producers. You only have one feature on the album, which was AZ,
AZ.
and you had like DJ Les, you had DJ Premier, you had Pete Rock, Q-Tip, Large Professor, all producing on this album, and just like this was peak Nas lyricism. You can see what the hell that he was saying on this album. Like you could picture yourself being in Queensbridge, like seeing like kind of visualizing what the hell he was saying on that album, man. I listened to it the other day, and it just sounds like it came out yesterday. Like it just takes you back to that time, like in the early '90s when being in Queensbridge, and just a dope album, man. And still to this day stands up, and it's one of the if you're gonna play somebody a hip hop album, this is gonna be like one of the ones that you're gonna like play them first. Like if they're asking like, yo, I never learned about hip hop. Can you teach me about hip hop? This is like one of the first albums that you would put on and play for them. So definitely a monumental album, and one of the ones that
That's real.
solidified Nas as a legend to this day. If he never put out another album other than this, people will still be talking about him. And it's like it's crazy to think that he dropped this album and then all of the albums that came out after this, like it's crazy, and he's even still dropping albums to this day. So, shouts out to Nas and shouts out to everybody who was a part of that legendary album, man.
We're definitely at top five greatest hip hop album of all time. So many people got their style from Nas. I definitely was influenced heavily from Nas. Yeah, this was his debut joint where and before this he had never had a job, so it really gave a lot of inspiration for a lot of people to follow their dreams, follow their aspirations, and put that work in. And it was just a blessing to be able to witness, such a classic just happen in front of your eyes. A genius level music artist just have such a tremendous career right in front of your eyes. It's like watching Jordan live or something, in his prime or something. Yeah, so shout out to Nas and his strong career in
Yeah,
the game.
Yeah, and you weren't lying. No skippable tracks on this at all. Only 10 tracks. It goes along pretty fast. But damn, what a fucking ride it takes you on. You really get that whole vibe of what Queensbridge was all about, what that era of hip hop really was all about. And yeah, Nas even had his own dad on the album. His dad was like playing on the Life's a Bitch at the end of it,
yeah. And that was a dope part of the song too. I like that where the beat.
playing the saxophone.
Yeah, it's dope. I like that outro.
Yeah. You had Life's a Bitch with AZ, and that was kind of like what pretty much like built AZ's confidence. Because AZ even said like he didn't like the way he sounded on it initially, but when the people were rocking with it and saying how dope it was, that started to build his confidence, and that started to show him that he could like
Oh,
really
that's
be a
cool.
star too. And that would lead to Do or Die the next year. Also, The World Is Yours, another hip hop song influenced by Scarface, but another dope one regardless.
One Love, like with Q-Tip, that was a dope song, especially the concept.
Great storytelling. Great
Yeah, as far
storytelling.
as like telling the story between people incarcerated and how they interact and keep in touch and what's going, kind of informing what's going on in the hood. Like that's just dope concept and just like mad thought out. So I thought that was dope. That track and
And Represent
represent
represents.
still slaps to this day, man. That's that joint right there.
Yeah, it definitely gets the party hot.
That should just put you in a zone, son.
And then you see that when see him perform that shit live, You see him perform that shit live. It's,
Can imagine. It ain't hard to tell. Also, the production on that one's ridiculous. But yeah, it ain't hard to tell is also fire.
what was the sample that they had in that? It was like an '80s track, right?
No, it was Human Nature.
Yeah, it was
Michael
the Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. I knew. Yeah, I knew that's what it was. I knew it was like a popular
Dun,
sample.
dun, dun,
But yeah, I
dun,
was a dope ass
dun,
flip.
dun, dun. Yeah, shit slaps. Obviously, New York State of Mind.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. Any song on there.
That's
Sitting in the Park, Memory Lane. That was my shit too.
yeah, it's so crazy though. For as hot as this album was, and as like well received as the album was when it came out, it really didn't do that well commercially. This album didn't sell that well to the point where it didn't become platinum until 2001.
Yeah, a lot of people slept on the
So
album. Over the
weird.
years, it kind of gained steam. Then people started like, going back to listen. But yeah, it definitely was an album that took, it kind of like got better. It aged well with time, over time, kind of like wine. It got better with time, and people realized how ahead of its time the album was. That people didn't understand it when it came out, and they didn't understand it until like years later. So definitely, that's why it's one of the greatest of all time, one of the best albums.
And that was around the time when CDs were coming out. So people were buying
Yeah,
albums twice. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Um, or they would only buy it once and save for the CD and just bootleg the tape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember I used to dub the shit. I used to dub somebody else's tape. If I
Uh-huh.
didn't have a tape, I would make
Yeah,
a
put
copy
tape
of that,
over it or
or I'll
the
take a
little
CD and
system
then
son.
record it. Yep, or
old
record it.
school son.
I used to have I had a Walkman, not a Walkman, like a boombox that had a CD player and a tape, double tape deck, so you can record whatever you
The
have on video. I mean, on a tape to the other tape, and then whatever is playing on CD, you can record from the CD to the tape or from the radio to the tape.
right.
I used to do that shit all the time and make my own like little mixtapes, little like albums or whatnot. So that was a totally different time, man. I love how times have changed since then. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But what like really solidified this album is like such a classic, and like what people like really started to take notice of it from was it getting the 5 mic rating from the source. Like back when that really meant something, and back when that really held a lot of weight, yo, to get
Right.
the 5 mic ranking from the source, that was a big fucking deal. And yeah, that this is like one of the few albums that have had that honor.
Was this the first 5 mic album or
I believe it was, yes. I believe it was. And I remember there was
yeah?
controversy around this at the time because it's not that people didn't like this album, but they were kind of surprised that they gave this album a 5 mic ranking, but they didn't give the Chronic from Dr. Dre a 5 mic ranking.
Well, it could have been a lot of some bias during
Possibly.
that time because a lot of. But yeah, nevertheless, yo, it was definitely broke a lot of barriers and was, like I said, one of the best albums of all time, and still to this day, it's still people still hold it in high regards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fucking even being taught at Stanford and shit.
Yeah, the Library of Congress like declared it to be like culturally and historically significant. How many albums can say they have that said about them?
It's not many.
I also really like that documentary Showtime did about it a few years ago. That was dope.
Yeah, from Illmatic to Stillmatic, I think it was called,
Yeah, something along
or
those
something
lines. But
else.
yeah, it was just like strictly about
Yeah, yeah,
Illmatic, and yeah, it was very well done.
yeah. It was a dope documentary. I remember that. But yeah, man, shouts out to everybody involved, man, and yeah, definitely ahead of his time.
Or big shout out to Queens.
Yeah, shout out to Queen, shout out to Nas, and shout out to Illmatic. Even 30 years later, it's a project that still holds up today. And getting into our last anniversary, a very sad one. This past week marked the 14-year anniversary of the passing of Guru of Gangstarr, who died at 48 years old of myeloma, which is a form of blood cancer. And yeah, very unfortunate that he went out this way. It's a very rare thing to hear a rapper die of compared to the stereotypical ways they pass away. But yes, a major loss for hip hop. Definitely one of those recognizable voices of that same era we spoke of a few minutes ago. Guru, we can also throw into that conversation. And yeah, it was very sad when he passed away. What were you guys' feelings when you heard the news of this back then?
I was kind of sad. I wasn't really like a big Guru fan like that. When I like around that time, I didn't really I would say appreciate him till a little bit later on, until I was like a little bit more mature, and I went back and listened to like all the Gangstarr albums more in depth. So, but I definitely respect him. He did a lot. Him and DJ Premier did made a lot of classic bangers together. Just a dope lyricist, dope artist. He even had his own series called Jazzmatazz, where he put on a lot of other artists, and it kind of like blended between jazz and hip hop. So that was dope. But he's definitely a dope lyricist that's missed, and I kind of miss that that Gangstarr vibe, that feeling when it would put a song out together, man. So shouts out to Guru and his family, and shouts out to DJ Premier and everybody associated with Gangstarr.
Word, rest in peace. When I heard the news, I was shocked. I was still young, but I don't know why that one more than other ones that I could remember just hit me harder. Maybe because of his prestige in hip hop, because it was a natural thing. But I started to reflect, and I appreciated the artists that were with us, and the ones that I passed, and their music and their contribution to the art a lot more. Starting there, had more of a purpose. When someone like that from such a historical hip hop group, you know, so one of the groups
Mm-hmm.
that you need to know, what Premier did and what Gangstar did. Yeah, just
Yeah, for real.
props.
Yeah, you can't really call yourself a hip hop head if you don't at least know who they are and at least
Yeah,
know a few
for
of their
real.
tracks. If like you wanted to sell somebody on hip hop, like King Khan was talking about a few minutes ago with Illmatic, one of the groups I would play them is Gangstar, specifically Guru. Yeah, he was
Absolutely.
so nice, and yeah, I'm kind of bummed I didn't appreciate him enough when I was younger. But as I've gotten to appreciate him more and listen to his music more, yo, what a fucking assassin this dude was, and one of the greatest artists we could
Yeah.
ever be blessed to have listened to like through all of our years being hip hop heads. And yeah, it's very sad how he went out. I remember hearing before he died that he was sick in the hospital, like he had had a heart attack and that put him into a coma. And like people weren't really sure if he was gonna make it or not. And then unfortunately, several months later, he did pass. But despite that, he has passed. His music, Gangstar's music, still lives on and will still live on long after even we're gone. And that shit matters as much as anything else because that music, that shit you put on tracks and those concerts and performances you put on stage, that is your legacy. That is the shit that's going to live on and on long after you do. And if you can leave some shit like that behind, like Guru did, that is one of the greatest things you can even put out in this world. As corny as that may sound, I don't give a shit. I mean it when I say that.
No, they made timeless music, man, and it holds up. To this day, 20, 30 years later, that still slaps like it just came out. So yeah, that's what we want, man. We want artists to make songs that are gonna, withstand the test of time, man. They're gonna still be relevant years later, not songs that you listen today and then in a couple weeks, like you don't even want to hear it no more. Like it has no replay value, replay factor. So yeah, anytime you make music, we want to hear like that timeless music that you could play 5, 10 years down the line and could still hit, hit the
Word
same
up.
way. So much props to them, man.
And before we get out of here, King Khan, let our listeners know of some of the new releases they have to look forward to.
Yeah, the major alert, major new release that everybody needs to know about is Nas and DJ Premier just dropped a track called "Define My Name." Kind of sounds like a Nas is like part two. I know everybody's been waiting on this Nas and DJ Premier album for forever. Kind of felt like it should have happened like maybe 15 years ago, but nonetheless, if you listen to this track and hear at the end of the song, they actually announced that they are working on an album together that hopefully will be out later this year. So definitely go ahead and check out that track. Nas is still his lyrics are still A1. He's still spitting like he's 16 years old. And then DJ Premier, that classic sound with the cuts and the samples and the that he takes from other songs and puts in the rhyme. So it's a classic track. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but definitely check that out and be on the lookout for that new Nas and DJ Premier album that should be dropping. Also, we also got a new track by the Lost
Oh
Boys. I
shit.
know the Lost Boys, Freaky Ty, passed away a few years ago, obviously, unfortunately. But there's a new track with Spig Nice and Mr. Chief that just dropped.
That's my wife's favorite group.
Really?
By
That's
Roots.
Rashida's favorite group?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Lost Boys, man, that was my crew.
They
Man.
were a vibe, son. They were fun.
So Spig Nice and Mr. Cheeks, they came together and they dropped a new track called "Then Get Money." You can watch the video; it's on YouTube. But it was dope to see them, at least together for even though the whole crew's not together. I don't know what Pretty Lou is, but nevertheless, they all came together. The other two members and they made a song. So definitely check that out. And then finally, we have Nicki Minaj dropped a new track, "F the Club Up" remix featuring Travis Scott, Chris Brown, and Sexy Red. And then we also talked about like the beef stuff that already dropped. Chris Brown with the Weakest Link, Kanye with that Like That remix. So there's a lot of dope music that's out right now. A lot of diss records that are out right now. So there's a lot going on. So definitely check out and yeah, just check back with us for any new music coming out.
Also, check out Rogue Mike's project too. That's out this weekend. Definitely give a listen to that too. You don't want to miss out on For the 90 Now. Shit is a good vibe.
Yes, sir.
Word. Go cop that. Run them numbers up, y'all. Baritone Brothers.
Yeah, shout out to the Baritone Brothers. And shout out to all of our fellow hip hop heads out there. Thank you for listening to the show. And before we get out of here, King Khan, let them know how they can connect with us on social media and also listen to past episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, check out previous episodes of the show. You could visit shiftingtheculturepodcast.com. You can learn more about us and also listen to past episodes. And if you want to hit us up with any feedback, or if you want to be a guest or want to challenge any of our takes on the show, you can visit us at Shifting the Culture Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah, like, subscribe, holler at us. Rogue Mike, thank you for being on the show today. It was a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
And for King Khan and Rogue Mike, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of the Shifting the Culture podcast. Take care. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy this rap beef we have happening in front of us right now. And remember, whether you are an old school head or a new school head, always respect the fucking culture. That's all I ask.
Peace.
Have a good weekend. Go Knicks.
Yes, sir.
Word. Peace, y'all. Thank you.